Welcome to Muscle and Money, the podcast for gym owners aiming to elevate their business. I'm your host, Andres Fujic. Join us as we explore top strategies of the fitness entrepreneurs, uncovering the blueprints of their achievements and offering actionable advice to increase revenue, boost retention rates, and expand your locations. Whether you're just starting out or scaling your operations, Muscle and Money is your go-to resource. Let's build stronger businesses one episode at a time. Welcome, everybody. Today, I'm honored and privileged to have one and only Tom Dowd on the podcast live with us for Muscle and Money. Guys, there's an industry of 3,800 brands out there. Franchise world is huge, and there's over 700,000 franchisees running this experience in local businesses. But in the fitness world, there's only one player that stands out. There's over 100,000 gym owners who are looking for the resources. And out of all of them, today, there's no better person to interview and no better person to bring the message and the wisdom to you than CEO of F45. So I'm all honored and privileged to have you, Tom, on this podcast and looking forward to talking to you today.
Well, thank you. You're very generous, and thank you for the setup. And yeah, I'm excited to be here, Andre. Thank you.
So this is a conversation when we really want to communicate with the gym owners. They're looking for always resources, ideas. You know, I'm really grateful for you to joining Muscle and Money podcast. F45 Explosive Growth has been inspiring. Honestly, you guys went from Australia, swiped to US. I'm quite frankly a member. I'm getting this honored little sweat.
Fantastic.
And quite frankly, I changed 6 of these group workouts in the last 3 years, but 5 of them I changed in the last 2 years first year, and I stick to F45 in the last 2 years. Quite frankly, there's nothing like that. Honestly, I'm thinking, when will you guys repeat the workout? It's like walking into the gym, and every time you're in a different gym, like it's different setup. It's like transforming itself. I'm impressed. My body transformed, my energy transformed. I'm getting feedback from people. So on the workout side, it's absolutely incredible experience. But I want to see from you, can you share some insights into the key factors behind F45 success in building such a strong brand and a member base?
Yeah, well, thank you for being a member. Listen, it's about creating an experience for every member, making them feel welcomed and creating a differential point against the competition, like an Orange Theory. You know, we go out there and every workout's different every single day. There's a lot more effort put into building lean muscle mass now due to all the great publicity and scientific data coming out about how important lean muscle mass is as you age for cognitive skills, obviously mobility, you name it. Working out, we've known this forever, right? But now there's so much science coming out just saying, listen, it's never too late to start. Anybody can do it. Anybody can build lean muscle mass. And we're perfectly positioned, spot on trend with all of our modalities between our Pilates businesses, of course, F45, which is the catalyst for all this, growth and success that we have, enabling us to offer our franchisees the ability to now get into Pilates. And we're even going to do a spin concept again. We're going to bring back Flywheel, starting in Manhattan here as soon as we can find some great real estate, which is always a challenge. But our deal is, how do we build on the amazing community that we have? Mm-hmm. Mark Wahlberg and myself invested in this now almost 6 years ago. And everything we loved about it started with the culture and the energy when you work out, and just how welcoming everybody was when we went in. And, we sent in, secret shoppers, we'll call them, and everybody came away saying, wow, this is incredible. So that's why, it grew as fast as it did. Then it went off the rails because of, lack of, I guess, professional management is the best way to term that. But now we're back and really adding gas to the fire. We have an amazing product. We have an amazing franchise system that now is back, comfortable knowing that we're on the right track, and we're the right leadership's here who's committed to their growth and prosperity. So yeah, this has been my 1-year anniversary was yesterday. April Fool's Day, April
1st.
Thank you. I made it. So, yeah, but listen, it's been more than I dreamt of, because coming back in, getting back on the front lines again was invigorating. overwhelming at first.
There we go.
And just the last couple months, it's been fun again. So growing businesses is what I love to do, growing brands, engaging with people, doing the things that, executing on the things I grew up doing and growing up in retail my whole life, literally starting my father's supermarkets, bagging groceries when I was like 6 or 7, just always being held accountable and just being very passionate about business. I don't know, much about sports overall, but I love business. It's all I do. It's my hobby. So to come in and jump in with such an amazing brand that, quite frankly, we had a lot of money invested in, and seeing the change and how really when you put everything that you knew was being done wrong into action and fixing it and putting all the right practices in place, it's very rewarding to see it all play out and see the team really emerging and taking charge and enjoying the process now of support and growth and opportunities. So those three things are what we really focus on, adding value to the system and just really continue to create just an amazing experience for our members.
And not only that, what I see being a member for 2 years, there's a lot of dynamics, a lot of changes. The gym that I belong grew rapidly to the moment where I'm like, have to be really proactive about taking my time at 6:30 in the morning, right? Otherwise, if I wake up and want to book the class, like it's out. No. But recently introduced this flex time that really made it easy because people didn't have to chase it. If I miss it, I can go later on. But also a lot of people did not have to book in the morning. So I do have now flexibility. And I know, speak with Craig from Coral Springs location, says being such a huge impact. I was like, whoa, it's not easy to roll out at such a innovation across the 2,000 plus locations. But you guys are doing it.
Well, convenience wins, right? So, there's other gym businesses that are just, they hang their hat on just convenience. Anytime Fitness, it's right in the name. Convenience is the magic. We're not by any means trying to get away from the group training with that energy and being in classes. And believe me, people who love the classes aren't going to all of a sudden switch over. But
that's right.
If you miss a class, like you said, it's you can't make it. Why not come in and enjoy a beautiful workout and go through the track, if you will, and just come in and do your own thing? That's where we're going to win. And in today's world, giving people more options is key.
You know what? You have something that not many people have. Last conference, I'm a big follower of Tony Robbins and his coaching. He's one of the top 6 business coaches in the world. And on one of the conference, I remember one line he says, what's the number one difference between individuals and companies who succeed and stay successful versus who succeed and fail? Like they reach the top and they go down versus they reach the top and continue in the prime zone for a long time.
Right. It
says one word, hunger. They stay hungry. I was like, whoa, resonated so well with me. And that made me want to ask you a question. Like you could lose that hunger a long time ago. You could retire from the different businesses, but no, you are in the side says, damn, this is opportunity. Let me make something cool. Like, where do you get that hunger from? Like, how do you stay hungry? What keeps you hungry?
Yeah, I probably need therapy for this, but I think probably, listen, I grew up with it, stereotypical entrepreneurial father who was over demanding, no positive feedback, really. You could never do enough. Same thing with my mother. Just nothing was good enough. I remember taking her to my second house I bought. She was looking around behind me, go, why didn't you buy that house? What about that neighborhood? I said, well, no, this is my house.
Never enough.
This is it. Never enough. So, there's part of that drives me. And it's just, I started in a family business, so that was always ingrained in me. So I take things very personally. So when we invested in this and I asked other people to invest along with us, and then it went haywire, I feel responsible. I have integrity. That's why I've been successful in business. Everything I do is about doing the right thing, empowering people around me, building trust with the people I work with and who actually invest with us. So for me, it's about enjoying what I do. I love business. Like I said, I love growing things, selling things. We have several things out there. We have Performance Inspired Nutrition. That's a supplement company that
That's right.
I just get the biggest thrill when I see it living out in the universe. And, I have friends that go out in the world and they see one of our t-shirts out and they'll send me a picture. I mean, nothing makes my day more than that. Being involved with people and turning around a business like F45, which really, just needed to be fixed, not really turned around. We always had a great product, but that's the joys in life. What am I going to do? Play more golf, but I'm always trying to prove something because of, I guess, just how I grew up. Again, just nothing was good enough.
That's how you're
even in my head.
Yeah. You talked about performance nutrition supplement brand, and I know that's not the only thing you have on your plate. You have FS8, you have another brand coming up, and that reflects me on the research I did maybe 5-6 years ago. It was about franchises, and I wanted to understand the industry from the core, like how it started, how McDonald's initiated the industry, and how it was sold as being buy yourself a job, but in a message like be your own owner, be the business owner. Right? Own your own business. But then suddenly franchises were going like a crazy, growing up to 1970s. And the new trend become as a multi-unit owner. As like, okay, instead of holding on to one, you become more as an owner, not operator, by having multiple things and hiring people and expanding the territory. And that's where the subways took off and other industries. And then a recent trend in last, let's say, decade and a half, maybe 2 decades, it's multi-brand ownership, where owners saturate area, they don't want to drive for 2 hours, but how they can get complementary businesses and maybe cross-pollinate. And it's like other brands came up as a day. I want to see how integrated are performance nutrition or your plans for FS8, F45. Can one gym owner who already owns F45 get himself involved in other products and services and industries you guys are offering?
Yeah, the short answer is absolutely yes. We have franchisees now that own FS8 and F45s, like the Crow's Nest down in Australia was one of my favorite studio visits. They have right next to each other on the same floor, both of them feeding off each other. We just had the grand opening early or mid-March, right around the I think the second or third we visited in our HQ, the FS8 opened up right next door to our F45. So we have Vora start as Vibes. Now we switched over to Vora because of naming issues worldwide. We're in 68 countries right now. Then, of course, they didn't buy the name worldwide, so we had to switch. But we like Vora as well. So Vora is our other high-end Pilates concept, high energy, mirrors on the ceiling, great lighting, high energy music, go, go, go. And FS8 is yoga, toning, and Pilates all combined. And we just, we tweaked the workout to make it a much more efficient workout. We went down to one trainer because we made it much more condensed and focused. So we're very excited about getting in and being in and growing the Pilates business. So yes, as a matter of fact, the holy grail for me is offering the current franchise system who don't want to cannibalize with more F45s to now expand into what's really a hot category is Pilates. So our 2 concepts that we have are amazing. They're unique. Again, everything we do has to be top notch. And when I first came on, I challenged the team, like, do we have the best Pilates workout? What's the feedback? And we were probably 85% there. Now we're 99% there with FS8, and Vora was always just crazy how great it did. I mean, we have huge studios in Singapore, which we just visited, right out of the gate. But build out's a little bit more for the Vora. It's a little more high end, and FS8 is more of our every market Pilates concept. It's unique and really just kicks the butt of the competition.
Beautiful. And I think for people listening to this, you're not limited to one side of the revenue. It's a revenue income diversification as well. Plus, it's much easier to cross-pollinate and also much easier to work with a team, employees, resources, negotiate loans, all of that. And the knowledge is the same, applied just across the platforms.
Yeah, and you get better real estate deals per square foot. You could get better
Yeah,
positioning in a center because if you do them side by side, for example, you get better placement because you're using more frontage. So there's a lot. And even if you're not next to each other, now you can cross pollinate between your membership base where you give them a
that's right.
better deal for belonging to both. And then you bounce back between the Pilates consumer who now wants to do some high intensity interval
Correct.
training because we know statistically many gym goers have multiple gym memberships. So why not
Correct.
give them the offering and something that's amazing, and we have it.
That is definitely what the trend in the industry is, because everybody wants to grow. I speak with owners, me myself, right after this podcast, I'm meeting with a existing F45 owner out of Coral Springs. We are talking together to buy another F45
Oh,
locations,
well,
and want to
awesome.
literally take it and totally reconstruct it, take it to the number one in the country. So we'll see about
That's
that.
awesome. Yeah, let's make it happen.
So that leads me to another question. I should not say that before I ask the question. So if you can forget it for a second.
Sure.
And question is, if you have somebody who is just starting over and wants to get into F45 and has a 5 minutes to spend with you, right? And what advice would you give him? Either avoid this or go double down on this.
Mhm. Yeah, that's a good question, but it's an easy one. I mean, first of all, you have to enjoy it, because you can't give 1,000% if you don't enjoy it. And then the second part of that is you have to really live and breathe it. Your fingerprints have to be on everything. You have to be involved from the build out, making sure the contractors did a great job, to the grand opening, making sure that you have the best trainers, you're putting the time and energy into hiring the right people, that you understand marketing, and you're doing everything you can to engage with your community and really tell the story and get people in the door. That's easy if you love doing what you're doing. So, find out what you love to do, enjoy the space in doing it, working with people. In our business, the fitness industry is amazing. The energy, the quality of the people is just amazing. I mean, you'll never meet a better group of engaged folks in the health and wellness space and fitness. If you love doing it, it should be easy. If you love growing a business and seeing what you could do with that business, that should be easy for you to be hands-on and be involved. So those two things go together. And then
So
really just put yourself into some school with marketing, which you have that background.
What you're saying is don't go into it unless you're passionate about it. Unless you're willing to, because every business, every opening, everything has challenges. And that's where you're tested. Do you really love it or not? If you don't love it, you find it as a challenge, as a complication, and stress. If you love it, it's like, oh, okay. It's like my baby, it pooped. I gotta wipe it up. It's like it's a part of the business. Let's continue.
That's it. Yep.
That is easy advice, like you said. And you had your own challenges in the past. When people find themselves in a position, because you're really coaching and even on this call on a psychology part of the business, and even Tony says, success in the business, 80% is psychology, 20% is how you do it. Is this something you also do with the franchisees, franchisors, members, teaching them on mindset instead of just to-dos, checklist, SOPs? And like, how's your strategy of coaching? Because you have so many families looking up to you at this moment, and everything you say, it resonates. How do you know what to say, when to say, and how to coach people?
Well, everybody's different. Every situation is different, but everything's fixable for the most part. And our job in management is to try and find the best solution for hopefully a win-win. It may not be an easy road. You might have to make tough decisions. You may have to let people off and get more hands-on. You may have to add people. There's different scenarios. But if you go at everything with a positive mindset and not get stuck into this rut of, oh my God, the competition's killing me, or, oh, I'm losing memberships. But you really get out of that rut and say, well, why is this happening? Do I have a better product than an OTF? How do I message that to the people? How do I create different offers to keep people engaged? So there's always just, people get stuck in things, and sometimes they get negative, and it's a natural trend that people get on sometimes. But if you can take yourself out of that and look down at it almost and say, what would I do differently if I was to buy this right away what would the things that I would do differently if I took myself out of the equation and not just bought this business? First thing I would do is I'd probably make a change, with my trainers, or I'd get window signs up, or I'd clean up my front entrance, or I would clean up my bathrooms. Sometimes people they have blinders on and they don't set back. And listen, I've made a lot of money buying brands and walking right in and going, wow, how did they not understand this missed opportunity? Right. But that's how you make money. So in this case, and by the way, this doesn't mean by any means that everything's always fixable, but I go into everything very positive. I'm very optimistic by nature. I think I can fix anything, and then if I get proven wrong, at least I've given it 1,000%. I know that I haven't challenge myself to think of every opportunity. Same thing when we do tests. I tell the team, listen, we're going to try like hell to make this work, because the fastest way to make a test fail is to do it half-assed and not really put your back into it, because that happens a lot. And I've been guilty of it in the past. You test something and then you kind of don't put your thoughts behind it and stay on top of it. Next thing you know, you hear that it didn't do well. Of course, nobody was paying attention. If the top guy's not paying attention, everybody else is going to pay attention. So we go at it, 100%. And then if it fails, great. We feel good about it. It failed. We did everything. It just wasn't right. For whatever reason, we feel great about it. So it's good to fail if you do everything the right way and you really want it to work, but not everything works. So, but then you can go move on. But then when it does work, ta-da, you feel really great. And we have a lot of different things that we've rolled out to the system now, and we're really happy with. And I'm very proud of the team, how they really pressure test everything to make sure that when it goes out, we're 95-ish% there. And then when it gets live in the studios, and we'll tweak it a little bit, not 60%. And then the franchisees get frustrated, and we're still getting better. This went from a very sales organization to an operational organization. So we really had to really get everybody, kind of, I don't want to say trained, but in the right mindset. So, and then show the franchisees that we're here to support them, not just to sell to them, which is a key change in mindset for the organization. Yeah.
I mean, one thing that consistently resonates around you, and this, and then everybody who's listening to this can see it and feel it and hear it right now, is your unstoppable optimism. And you're optimistic about everything. And we spoke about problems, like, okay, you got to love it. You got to love what you're doing. You got to love taking on the challenges. Even if you fail, you got to love it. When you succeed, you got to love it even more. It's a part of you that I admire. And that gives you much easier way to go through the challenges, because you don't look them as a challenge. It's like opportunity. Okay, how can we enjoy this, and how we can fix it, and how we can move on? And that is contagious. That resonates with the team, with the people, because if the leader is scared, they're scared even more. If you show that you have, a couple of months ago, I'm in Zambia, and we're on a boat on the river that's where the Victoria Falls are, and every 6 feet there's a crocodile on the side. So we're getting in the last boat to do water rafting, and my boat has a hole, and it's leaking the air. And what do? You ask a leader, it's like, hey, is this normal? And when the leader look at this and start swearing, like, oh shit. Then you tell, like, if he doesn't know how to manage this, like, we are on the phone.
Right. Well, you always have to figure out, like, I always think in my head, like, it's funny to bring that up, but I always think about my head, like, when you see these bad things happen, I always think, like, I would be one of the first ones out, because I'm always thinking about, like, how do I get out? What happens?
There we go.
It was bad. And that crosses over. But, part of it is my background, trying to take over my father's supermarkets and help when I was young, trying to manage older people and myself, and then always being thrown into tough circumstances. And I spent 25 years at your own nutrition company, growing from less than 850 locations to 8,700. And when you're in operations, all you do is solve problems all day. So, like, as I grew and got promoted, I had the proverbial corner office, and all day long it was just people coming in with questions and problems and meetings, and everything is maybe not framed as a problem, but an opportunity. And just
decision has to be made.
Decisions have to be made. So that's and that's a very diverse, complicated business, which makes it, so the supermarket business is a tough business, right? So that's great training. And then GNC was another very tough, complicated business. You have to call it 9,000 SKUs, dated, FDA, a lot of locations, a lot of real estate, short dated products. You had food products, supplements, branding. It was when I started, it was so backwards. I mean, we literally had to use a payphone in the mall to call into HQ. I mean, so to see that growth and what we did with that company, but it's all great training. So that's why I've been so successful when we buy brands and we do private equity venture capital. And that's what was very frustrating for me, because when we invested in this, all the things that I wanted to do, we weren't able to do because we had very difficult management. So it was very frustrating for me. But now that's why it's so rewarding for me, because part of me was ego driven to say I'd come in and do this, when we couldn't find the right person, because I knew I could do it. I just didn't necessarily, I was busy to start. So now it's very rewarding to know that, all the things that you saw not being done and you wanted to do from the beginning, now we're just doing, and you're seeing the trajectory change, and you see the whole dynamic of the business change. And it's easy when you have a great product, right? We're not trying to fix Blockbuster Video. We have an amazing product, right? So it's much easier. If I fixed Blockbuster Video, that would be a much bigger feather in my cap, but I wouldn't take that on, even though they had the opportunity to buy Netflix and they passed, which is,
there you go. I know the story.
Yeah. So anyway, maybe I would have done that, because one of my strengths, I believe, is my ability to spot opportunity, and what coupled with the ability to see how things play out. A lot of people spot opportunity, but they don't really play it out. Like they'll spot something and they'll just forget about it, or they just can't, get traction with it.
Do you think that's still connected with your optimism as well, and your energy, your lookout to the role?
Always. Yeah, I'm always thinking, how do I make this better? Does it make it great to live with me? Because my wife will tell you, because I'm always challenging everything, could you have done this and whatever. It makes me good at business, because I'm always thinking like,
how do I make this better?
This be better? Yeah, how do I do it better? And it's just it's not even, it's just natural, I think, or maybe I've developed it over the years, but it's something I've always been good at. I've always been creative, and that helps a lot too, which I think helps you connect the dots.
So doesn't matter where you are, or no matter where you start. If you just start with that one question, if you summarize the whole interview now in one line, to just ask yourself, how do I make this better?
Yeah.
And it can go from your own emotions, from your own state, from the conversations, from decisions, from the everything you're looking at it.
Yeah. No
like
doubt.
Primary question.
And if you can train your team to do the same thing and add value to your thoughts, a lot of times I'll put things out, even half-baked, but I think it's a good idea, and then I'll pressure test it against the system, and people come back and say, that's a good idea, but we should probably do this, especially here at F45, because there's people around me who have been in this particular industry, even though sports nutrition and GNC is pretty similar. But, it's still slightly different. But, it's really good to have their perspective as I was learning. And we're kind of a remote business. We have a big headquarters in Austin, Texas, which is beautiful. But a lot of people, it's hard to learn names. It's hard to learn processes and stay on top of things when you're not in one building, where everybody, you can just walk down a hall, but you engage. And I've been really, really surprised at how hard everybody works, even remotely. And we have people working in HQ, of course, as well. But it was hard for me being remote, just trying to catch on, being remote.
That's right. And that's kind of new trend. A lot of people disagree with the trend. A lot of people agree and just go with it. I remember Elon Musk saying like, oh my God, I need everybody back in the office. If you're capable of coming back,
good luck.
When he gets over Twitter, like if you're capable, you gotta come. He is that way. But yeah, good luck. But on another side, opportunity of being remote is you get access to the world talent. You're not limited to what's available in 3 to 5 miles radius.
That's right. Exactly.
If you again look at it from the better perspective, how can we take advantage of remote instead of just, look at it as a challenge? I would like to know, what is the next? How next 5 years look like for, F45, FS8, for Aura, or performance nutrition? Like, where do you driving or taking this ship to?
So we're very lucky to be in a high growth category, both for the sports nutrition business and obviously fitness. So now that we've fixed all the HQ issues. We're back on track with our accounting issues. We put all the guardrails and we're managing this professionally with the right people. We see this easily tripling in growth in the next 3 years. We think we could have well over 10,000 units between our Pilates concepts and F45. There's no doubt. We can definitely continue to grow in markets where we're not saturated right now. So there's a tremendous amount of growth with just our Pilates in our saturated markets for F45. So, I see nothing but huge upside and opportunity for our franchisees. We really are focused on real estate and profitability. I'm kind of famous for saying I'm happy to shrink to grow. So if we lose some of the unproductive studios that maybe aren't capitalized or have dug themselves into a hole for whatever reason, it's sad to say, but it's better for the system and the brand image to have really profitable, great studios, and the franchisees are happy and profitable and growing. And that gives us a stronger base to pull from to expand into the FS8s and the Boras and even more F45s. So there's just a tremendous amount of growth. And we're so lucky because we have such brand dominance over, we have competitors like in Australia who target us.
But the quality as well.
They want to be us. They can't be us. They just can't catch up as long now that we've caught our breath and are refocused. So now we're so mobile and nimble, I should say, that we're adding value to our system. Our members are seeing it. Our franchisees are seeing it. So you just can't beat the experience, and you certainly can't beat the workout. So, and now that we're managing the business properly, you can't stop us from growing again. So that's the win.
And foundation of the business is incredible. And when I'm saying foundation is how I, as a member inside the gym, feels when I'm done with the workout. Like how I feel every day. Like, quite frankly, I am addict. Like if I travel and I cannot go to gym for 2 weeks, I'm a different person. Like I gotta go back and get myself energized. And it's just incredible. Incredible because every gym, every place, even if you look like Orange Theory, I used to be there for 6 months, but everything is laid out that you're facing the wall, right? It's like all the machines, connections and things. And it's and it's all the same, but it's such a little variation. And I'm asking my guys in F45s, like, guys, when do you reconstruct this gym? Like, how do you move all this equipment every day? Like you're walking to different gym. It's I don't know. You guys nail it. With a setup, with the training, with energy, with the playlist that's playing there. I mean, let's talk about that. It's like I want to take that playlist in my car. That's brilliant. Honestly, Tom, quick, fast questions.
Sure.
Leaders are learners. You have so much to teach others. But I want to know, who do you follow in the industry? Who is the podcast influencer, coach, person? Where do you get your knowledge?
I say you can't see all the books behind me here.
I can tell.
They're all business books, believe it or not. I've read most of them twice. It's no secret if you follow me on Instagram or certainly like the team. I'm a big Steve Jobs fan, not necessarily him as a person, but from a management style and just the brilliance of I love the simplicity of a great idea sometimes. Like squeezed ketchup. Yeah, there you go.
I'm totally listening to him now.
So, if I was to say, anybody, a passion for excellence, Nancy Austin co-wrote a book, Tom Peters back in the early days, and Nancy Austin's Passion for Excellence, Search for Excellence, Good to Great, all the standard books. But then you start, as you mature and you learn more, I think Steve Jobs is somebody that always resonates with me when he talks about you're just creating an amazing product and not lowering your standards. And I always loved his willing things to happen, which is the way I think. Like I will.
How he controlled the whole experience from A to Z, and how he pushed to be different and pushed to be simpler and consistently iterated to the extreme. Never stopped. I love it. I love
his ego was driving a lot of that, and it actually cost him his life. If you know the story, I mean, he should have really been more proactive with his health and not thought he could change change the universe through his will. But he did it very well in business. Like he willed things to happen, and he pushed the team, and he drove people. But it's a great lesson in business because when you really, think that you can make it happen and you challenge your team and get everybody pushing towards that one goal, you'd be amazed and shocked at what you can get done. I mean, I have a lot of different examples I can point to in my career of me saying something and everybody going, yeah, there's no way. And then we do it and everybody goes, oh, I guess you can do it. It's like the 2-minute mile. The minute somebody broke the 2-minute mile, boom,
there we go.
Doing it.
Roger Bannister, I think 4-minute mile. He broke the world record.
Right.
There you go. And after that, it was like so many people. Like, how's that possible?
Mindset gets you pretty far in life. So when you believe things can happen, you will it to happen. You can actually, and I believe in putting out things into the universe, energy wise and everything, that you can really shape how things happen.
That's impressive. I gotta give you maybe idea for your book. You might like it the way that you mentioned the books. I'm almost of 200 books on Audible, and I'm all crazy about it. So it's university on it's because of F45. It's 15 minutes away from me, so I take 30 minutes a day to listen to audiobooks on my way back and forth. So Elon Musk recent biography came a couple months back. It is out of almost 200 books, one of the top 10 I listen. And it is like really impressive.
I'll check it out. Yeah.
You might find it satisfying. Awesome.
I will.
So, I'm looking for 2 names you have on top of your mind. Who are the 2 people that you would recommend for the podcast that everybody who is listening, including all F45 locations, can benefit? I'll go interview them. I'll reach out to them, and we'll bring their knowledge and wisdom for the audience.
Oh, I think Luke Armstrong, so Chief Revenue Officer.
Mm-hmm.
I think Patrick Grasso, I think, would be great. He's our
Say
CFO.
that again. Oh, CFO.
Luke Armstrong, he's our CFO, Patrick. So both of those guys are amazing. They've been here. Luke is employee number 1. I just did the APAC tour with him for 17 days, starting in Texas. So those are the 2 guys that really understand. Patrick's been on the front line from a financial standpoint here, which has not been an easy position, but now we're rising up and doing it. And Luke's been somebody that's been with the old management team, now with the new management team, and he's really been a stellar performer. And again, it goes to show with the right support and guidance, people can really rise up and create something even better when they're really in the right atmosphere.
Beautiful. And I have in my list Mark Wahlberg as well, because I know he's involved into this. So because I think people he's a part of the community. He's a face, and you and his partnership is recommended incredible impact on the brand.
Yeah.
For the people who are looking to learn on their own, you attended probably, or for many conferences that are happening out there. Is there any recommendation for conferences that are worth visiting?
No, I mean, as a team, we're going to be participating in a lot of franchise conferences in a big way. So I don't know the names of them, but there's some big ones. We had franchise, a big business at GNC, but so I've been to 1,000 of them. Probably there's different conferences, but it's been like 13 years since I've gone to a conference. But we're gonna be attending them. I don't know all the names of them, but literally this week, yesterday. We had to talk about not only going to the conferences, but going there in a big way, having a good booth set up with representing our Pilates business as well. Because we're still kind of battling the mindset of including our Pilates and everything, because it's always FSA or F45. So we're just trying to get everybody to think about it. Even our business cards now, we have 3 modalities listed instead of just F45. And I got my first set of new cards back, and it just had F45. So whoa. We got to get. So anyway, just getting the team to focus on the fact that we have, all these offerings that are really kicking butt is key. So we just had this conversation about when we go to these conferences to make sure that we have everything well represented and we look like, we're as big of a business as we are.
This was awesome. Tom, you nailed it. And audience, for you guys who are listening to this, I hope you enjoy it. If you have any other questions for Tom, you might send it, he might answer it, we don't know. But make sure you follow Tom on Instagram. And if there's anything else our audience can do for you, we would love to reciprocate and give it back. So, Tom, appreciate having you on this podcast. on behalf of everybody listening, and you share some incredible insights on psychology as a leadership and the resources. And I hope everybody enjoyed as much as I did. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Bye now.
Bye. And that's a wrap on another impactful episode of Muscle and Money. A big thank you to our guests for sharing their insights. To our listeners, thank you for joining us on the journey to build more successful gyms. Remember, today's insights are just the beginning. Apply what you learn and keep pushing boundaries. For more inspiring conversations and expert advice, subscribe to Muscle and Money on your favorite podcast platform. Leave us a review and share with fellow gym owners on the mission to elevate their business. Until next time, keep flexing those entrepreneurial muscles. Here's to your success in and out of the gym.